today we're talking about what sets are worth buying for Scarlet and Violet. So you'll see a lot of people talking about similar topics on YouTube, and I think a lot of these people just miss the mark in terms of really defining what influences the price of a product and predicting how that set is really going to perform. So, and I think the biggest take on this is really the next thing that I want to talk about, which is the types of buyers. So, this is my list of what I define in terms of the types of buyers that are out there that affect a market. And the biggest example of my feelings on how certain other people might just be missing the mark is Shrouded Fable coming out in just a few weeks here. A lot of people think it's going to flop. I think it's going to be great. Maybe not right away and maybe not immediately, but there are some great indicators that that's going to be a good set. Again, a lot of people are just talking about how, it's people only have a certain amount of money, the sets are coming out too soon. Again, very important to take into consideration, but there's a lot more to the picture than just thinking about over the next few weeks what the set's going to be worth, by the end of August or September. So, but before we get into some more of those specifics, I wanted to again talk about the types of buyers that I define. First, I outline the TCG players. Some of the most important people in the hobby here. These people are really the ones looking for sets that are going to give them that competitive edge, or even just casually, what cards they want to play with, just to have fun in a casual setting in the TCG. But really, again, it comes down to those playing the actual game. Then investors. So those really only looking to make money on the hobby. They're trying to buy for a low price. They're trying to sell it for more later. Then I outline the whales. I think everyone's familiar with the whales. We all are probably even familiar with the first three we've talked about. These are the people that are just going to buy everything regardless. Whether it's for them to open up themselves, whether they're buying just thousands of dollars in product to sell later, so maybe kind of that investor side, or the people just trying to master set everything. There's a lot of people out there that are just, they want to master every set, and they only do so by ripping packs. I put those people in the whale category because that's a lot of money to do so. So budget chasers. This is a new term that I kind of just threw in here. This is really going to be the people that I define as those looking to purchase chase sets. So what I mean by that is a lot of the people that you do hear saying, I'm skipping Shrouded Fable, I'm skipping Twilight Masquerade, I'm saving my money for the Rocket set coming out and the Eevee set coming out. Those are the people that I put in terms of budget chasers. They're really just chasing the most important sets to them. Next, I'd say the focused collectors. So these are going to be the people that I say they're only buying cards or sets of a certain type. So for example, I'm a Mew collector. I only buy PSA 10 Mews for my personal collection, along with a sealed collection on the side, and then maybe I'll dabble somewhere else, but really I primarily collect Mew. Other examples, the most common is going to be Charizards. People only buying Charizards and those cards that come out. So that's what I say is focused collectors. It doesn't have to be cards. It could also just be those that only buy, booster boxes. Again, very focused on what they collect. And then the last group that I define as the hype followers. We all know the hype followers because everyone blames the YouTubers for them. The YouTubers comment on them. These are going to be the people that only buy sets after the price is most likely already gone up. So these are the people when Twilight Masquerade is selling for 90, 100 bucks a box, but then all of a sudden it's selling now for 120 a box. These are the people that come out of the shadows to try and buy Twilight Masquerade for 100 bucks a box. Like, sorry guys, you're a few weeks late there. But that's the hype followers is what I classify that group as. So again, I'm covering this because all of these groups, in my opinion, impact the market in different ways, and I don't think a lot of people take into consideration all of these groups of people when they make their decisions on the success of a certain set. So this is going to be more important. I'm going to talk about like Shrouded Fable in another video. I'm really going to rely on like a chart like this or these definitions more when I talk about that. But before I do that, I first want to pivot into talking about, what is the state of current Scarlet and Violet TCG here. So what I want to do is talk about very quickly where the prices are for booster boxes and booster box cases for the first few main sets of Scarlet and Violet. I think that this is the best indicator, along with maybe, set price, how much every card in a set is to master it. That might be important too. But my biggest indicator on how well a set is doing is the price of the booster boxes and the price of the booster box cases. It's the most popular, in my opinion, sealed item for everyone involved. And then cases, again, it's just hand in hand. I think the two prices together give a lot of value in terms of looking at what's going on. So first thing I want to call out here, this is the first time in a long time the average price of booster boxes is above $100 for the Scarlet and Violet set. So if I had a graph up right now, which I'm going to get to in a minute, we were in just a few months ago a state of boxes going for $75, $80, $90 for every set. Scarlet Violet base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, Paradox Rift. Every box you could get for all of those sets for 90 or less, most likely. We are now in a state where every box price is above not only 90 but even $100 a box. That's crazy. A lot of people are talking about how the market's dead right now. We're in a summer slump. That's true. There's fewer buyers, I feel like, out there, but despite buying slowing down, prices are going up, which is wild to me. So want to look at some of these and break these down. Scarlet and Violet base, $100 a box. The interesting part on this is $5.50 a case. This tells me that we have plenty out there. People might just be chasing the overall box prices here, but Scarlet and Violet base, plenty of it still. Paldea Evolved, that's taking off right now. I think we're all familiar with that. The hype followers are definitely familiar with that. Everyone trying to buy Scarlet or Paldea Evolved. So $130 a box price on that, pretty insane. Obsidian Flames, very surprised about the price here. $115 a box. These are TCG player prices, by the way. $115 a box, $660 a case. This is interesting to me because I think you can still find Obsidian Flames for about like $100 a box. So the fact that single box prices are up, case prices are up, this is interesting to me in terms of, again, thinking long term. What's going on here? Is the market, or is this set kind of becoming a little harder to find, or is hype just building in general for Scarlet Violet? What influenced the prices here? So we'll look at this a little more in a minute. Paradox Rift, this one's surprising to me. This is the most surprising to me. The only $100 a box, $620 a case. I'll talk more about Paradox Rift again when we get to it. Temporal Forces, $110 a box, $625 a case. Again, weird for me here, $625 a case. This one started taking off a few weeks ago, climbing from $580, $600, got up to $620 a case. I anticipated it being about $660 by now. A little surprised that we're stuck at this $620 hump, probably because there's still plenty at the distribution right now. Twilight Masquerade, $125 a box, $720 a case. Very interesting. Again, I think you can find boxes for maybe around $110, $115 still. And then we're kind of stuck at the $720 mark. I think a lot of people are anticipating this going out of stock at distro, so prices are going up. So the one thing I want to talk about too is I want to get into looking into specific prices and again where we came from on some of these sets. So okay, so this is really interesting to me. Again, looking at where we are within some of these prices for the different sets that we come in here. So I'm looking at Pokédata. So Pokédata, what I did is I pulled in all of the different booster box prices. We're looking right now just over the last 6 months. I'm going to change this to the last year. This is again really going to highlight how far we've come. I wish that they didn't have all this dead space here. It doesn't do it justice, the price difference that we're looking at. But just here, for example, $70 a box for this is Paldea, or no, I'm sorry, Scarlet and Violet base. $72 essentially a box back in November. Now, if we come up to here, we're looking about $96 a box. That's a massive change for Scarlet and Violet base. If we come over to what's Pink Series 4, Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift, again, we're looking around this like early year, November, December, January. $83 a box. Now we're just pushing $100 a box here. Again, a lot of this you're seeing very close in price. The highest price box in December was $95. Now the highest price box is $135. This is very interesting to me. The one thing we didn't talk about too is the starting price for some of these sets that have most recently come out. So a lot of these different sets, what you'll see is they come out maybe $100 a box, maybe 110. Because of the surplus in inventory, it'll kind of dip maybe to $95, $90 a box. And then it'll slowly over time start to climb up again. Even for Scarlet and Violet base, you can see it came out around $90 a box. This is where it starts to dip and then it starts to rise. It's just a longer time period for Scarlet and Violet base. We had that, but not very long for the last two sets. Temporal Forces, I don't know what's going on here. This is crazy. I don't remember anyone buying Temporal Forces for $150 a box. That's crazy. I'm gonna come down to here. 106 a box for Temporal Forces. It probably came down here. It dipped just to about $100 a box on TCG Player. Oh wait, what am I series? Is this series 5? Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we're at like 107 a box here for Temporal Forces. So again, no dip there really to that $90, $95 a mark for Temporal Forces. Very interesting. Same thing here for Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade, let's just start around here. It's coming out and it dipped to about $102 a box. Again, I don't know what this price movement is here, but then not getting to that $95 mark, not getting to the $90 mark. It's sticking to $100 per box and then already starting to climb to 105, 115, 120. This is very surprising and not something we've seen for a while, especially for Scarlet Violet. So very, very interesting data here showing us the price movement over the last few months, especially the last few boxes. What I want to do now is pivot back into talking about, specifically the certain boxes that we're looking at here, or the certain sets, and then what you might want to consider doing depending on your strategy here. So Scarlet and Violet base, again, $100 a box, $5.50 a case. I think this is a good buy, but for a very long term. Pokemon printed way too much in the beginning. It's been stuck at its price because of how much they printed for forever. It's still a great buy, but you're gonna be holding it for at least a year or two. Similar to what we're seeing with Sword and Shield, a lot of those prices, once they go out of stock and distros out, they shoot up. It's gonna happen, I think, with Scarlet Violet base. It's still a great time to buy. You're just gonna be holding it for a long time. So I don't think it's likely that, there's always that factor of reprint. What's gonna happen with a reprint? I think that the reprint long term is unlikely. So it's gonna climb eventually. It's just gonna be a long time. So if you got the money, keep buying Scarlet Violet base. Especially when we get out of things being in stock, you always got to have the base box, right? So people are going to come back to the base box eventually. Paldea Evolved, 130 a box, 830 a case. I said, hey, pause on Paldea Evolved. This had to be the first set that Pokemon had their eyes on for a reprint. It was the first set to go out to be out of stock at distro. It's already at 130 a box, which is still below MSRP, but I think that it's way too likely that Pokemon has their eyes on this, and I think that a reprint is very likely. Additionally, I don't think the set's very exciting. I never thought Paldea Evolved was very exciting. I think a lot of people predicted that the price was going to go up, but I don't think a lot of people were ever excited about the set in general. I just think they were excited that they knew the price would go up quickly because of the set and how much there was out there in general. So I'm saying if you already have it and you're looking to buy more, wait until boxes may go back to 90, 100 if Pokemon does come back and reprint. Obsidian Flames, I think this is an absolute sleeper set for, and I know I might be in the minority here. So boxes are already 115, cases are 660 on TCG Player. I think you can find boxes for about $100 a box, but I don't think you should buy the box personally. I think that buying the cards in this set might be the greatest investment long term. So again, great art here, extremely cheap cards, all the IRs, SIRs for the entire master set. I think right now it's like $200 to master set Obsidian Flames. So instead of buying 2 booster boxes, master set, just master set Obsidian Flames. Again, it's a Charizard set. Personally, I think this is some of the best art for some of like the original Pokemon: Tyranitar, Charizard, Dragonite, Ninetales. There's a lot of great classic Pokemon in here with great artwork. I think this is an undervalued set, and that again, master it. Buy the master set for like 200, 250 bucks. Hold on to it long term. Once this is going to be one of those sets that I don't think they're going to reprint because it's just the prices aren't there for the individual cards. So hold long term. 2026, maybe not next year, but the year after, if they're out of stock of this stuff, I think the prices are going to go up for Obsidian Flames. It's not going to be the next Umbreon card or anything like that, but it's not going to be $200 for a master set either. It might be $600, $800 for a master set. So again, I don't think it's going to go up, to hundreds of dollars of cards for each one of these, SIRs and IRs. But I do think you're going to have a great return overall. So definitely don't sleep on Obsidian Flames. Get it while it's still cheap. Same thing with Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift is the one set I think a lot of people are scratching their heads on why it hasn't moved. When boxes were $90 each for the first 4 sets, Paradox Rift was the first set that people were excited about competitively. They were excited about, the long-term potential of the set, the pull rates on the set. Paradox Rift, I think people thought was going to move before Paldea Evolved and before Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade. Before that, definitely. So this is the one I think a lot of people are scratching their heads on what's going on. Is there just so much inventory at distro that we're still waiting to get out of that phase? I think again, there's no real clear answer on what's going on with Paradox Rift, but I kind of compared it to the next set of Chilling Reign. Chilling Reign was one of those that just kind of sat around for forever, very cheap set, and then eventually kind of just took off once everyone realized and came together and realized how great of a set it was. I think that's going to be Paradox Rift. No clear reason as to why it's not doing better compared to the other sets, but I think it's going to be one of the best long term. Even better than Paldea Evolved, better than Twilight Masquerade. I think Paradox Rift is going to be one of the top sets of Scarlet and Violet. So I said buy. I think very short term, once people figure it out, within 2025, maybe even before the end of the year, this set's going to be a lot higher than it is today. Temporal forces. So temporal forces, I just said kind of hold. 110 a box, 625 a case. Not sure what's going on with that price discrepancy there. I think this is going to be one of those sets that Pokemon has their eyes on for a potential reprint as well. If you have it today, hold. It might rise in price short term, might up to 660, maybe 700 a case. But if you're looking to buy, maybe wait and see what's going on with the reprint status. This is like a weird middle ground. Temporal forces, is take it or leave it. It's doing okay. So it's kind of in this middle. You can buy it, you can sell it. We'll see what it's really doing long term. Twilight Masquerade, this one, I'm saying same thing, hold or sell. If you have it today, it's 125 a box, 720 a case. This is another one of those weird ones. I think you can find it for like 115 a box, maybe 660, 680 a case. So the price is a little weird here, but I think that at least short term, within the next like maybe month, prices might get up to Paldea Evolve prices. They might even surpass Paldea Evolve prices, maybe 130, 135, 140 a box, maybe pushing up to 800 plus for a case. It really depends on what's going on in the market and how hot we can keep this set going. I think that we're getting in this territory too where Pokemon's going to announce reprints relatively soon. If they don't announce reprints, we're going to start seeing restocks back at distro. So this is one where keep your eye on it for the next month or two. But hey, if it's not moving, you can sell it or get in for the long term, or wait for that potential reprint. So that's everything that I want to talk about in terms of the current market today. I think there's a lot today as well in terms of, Shrouded Fable, Stellar Crown, what's happening in Japan. There's a lot more to talk about, but I'm going to save that for another video. This was just my take on the last few main sets for Scarlet and Violet and what I think the real value is there, both in the short term, the long term, a little bit of the risk there, especially with reprints. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you think it was, please do me a favor, give me a like, comment down below, especially let me know what kind of buyer are you. Again, we went over 6 different types of buyers. Is there one that you think that you fit into a little better than the rest? Did I miss one? So yeah, let me know down below. Thanks again for your time today, and have a great day.